Hi guys, today I'm doing a video in English because it's about a dev challenge, the GitHub Copilot CLI, and I'll show you what I could do with GitHub Copilot only from the terminal and especially make something useful. So I'll focus today on duckdb, which is a database I really use and love a lot, especially for two major points: the features and its extensibility. So feature rich because we can make export and we can use duckdb with many languages like Python and R, and with other many languages like Go. That's the first point. And the second point is its extensibility, with the possibility to export Parquet, load Parquet, etc., and use a lot of extensions. And let's take a closer look at what extensions are. There are many core extensions, like reading on HTTPS, reading S3 buckets, and etc. So here are the core extensions maintained by the duckdb team, as mentioned here. So as you can see, there is a very amazing list of so useful extensions like SQLite, Postgres, and Parquet, of course, MySQL, MotherDuck, of course, and well, these ones are the one and Excel for exports. So with just a simple SQL, you can make amazing things with very less effort, and then it makes data very affordable for many people, including junior ones, and if you want to write as less code as possible and then be very productive. So the developer experience is very excellent on duckdb. So I just made the focus on core extensions, but today we'll talk about the community extensions, because a lot of people can come and provide code to duckdb on a specific repositories. There is a whole ecosystem around this, and it makes duckdb even more extensible. So for example, here you can target big queries and Cassandra. There also is an extension to load YAML files, and also, which is very useful and not yet tested, you also have a Markdown, which makes it possible to read a Markdown file to load Markdown files into database and then make machine learning scenario with very few efforts. Next to that, many years ago, I did an extension to Oracle database. So now it's a bit old, but since not maintained since 2019. But the philosophy was the same. I wanted to extend Oracle 11g and interact with files. We are many other kind of data sources, but within a simple SQL interfaces. And so I could extend Oracle features with SQL. For example, we could list files, extract meme types, which was not possible from origin. For example, here we can I could extract a lot of metadata on files. This is for the files. I could also list contacts from any XMPP server. So all these kind of things from a simple SQL file. Also extract and read all the files and metadata from a 7-zip file, and that kind of things. This said, I wanted in the meantime be able to produce some reports And let me show you what I started to prototype. So I wanted to build in Rmarkdown a report of a lot of installed packages on my machine, and be able from data science tools, this is Rmarkdown here, list package installed with apt, homebrew, etc. And then, for example, on homebrew, be able to see all the packages installed with a nice features, and also the ability to make some charts reporting, packet installation evolving, count time, see what happens, and also which was quite interesting in the HTML because of Rmarkdown features, the ability, of course, to have interactive chart, but also to make security analysis, like for example centrality of homebrew packages. So I wanted really here to focus on security concerns, but with a pure data science perspective. So here we can work on centrality, see that FFmpeg is in the center of everything. And I wanted to do that instead of making here with R code, to make it much easier to use, and then at last create the brew extension. So after some tries, I ended to get my extension to be published, and it becomes as easy as 2 steps. Just install the extension, then make just a pure SQL to list installed packages, cask, etc. So from an end user perspective, and all that built only with the Copilot in a CLI, and I'll show you a bit later how I did set up my development environment. So first, I just use documentation. So here, and let's go for demo. So the first thing to do from any duckdb instance, here we are, and then just install the extensions. The extension. I just now we're gonna see with SQL which extensions have been installed, and here we can see that we have brew here, which is a community extension, and it's installed here. So we are ready to start the demo. Oh, sorry. So I'm going to play the provided SQL. And first, we're gonna see what are the casks. So from a simple SQL here in the duckdb CLI, I'm gonna get a structured output, strongly typed. Here we have an integer, the size of the total applications loaded in the cask, and the various tab. Next, we can see what are the installed packages. So now, under the hood, it calls brew command and prepare all the required stuff to provide the table in output. Here. And as you can see, there are a lot of fields but we'll take a closer look just a bit later. Also, we have a very interesting table function, which makes it very easy oh yes, I'll show it just a bit later. We're gonna give a try to the repository and have a look on some benefits of this extension. So we can create a first temp table. So the query performance will be better. And then also a temp table for the casks. And now we are ready to go. Maybe this time. Now we have all the tables available here, and it's much faster, and we have a lot of ready to use queries. And now we're going to play with basic queries. So the first one here, so package distribution by tab. So I can see that essentially I have core extensions, and then some of HashiCorp and some of OPT and C. Also, which is quite interesting for reporting purposes, is which the distribution between the directly installed packages versus the one that were pulled by or required by other packages. Now also something very interesting is the timeline. So for example, I can see that between these two dates something happens, and then we are really started to install a lot of packages as previously shown in the PDF. Now also, which was not natively possible from the brew command line CLI, we have disk analysis statistics. So we can see that LLVM is the first one, then AWS here, GCC, etc. So as you can see, it's very easy. If I can perform it so easy in SQL, you can make in Quarto notebook, Jupyter notebooks, or any other kind of thing. You can also export to a Parquet file or historize in Iceberg files. It's the all duckdb features. We take benefits with reporting on the brew install packages. Now, for example, for dependencies, it's as easy as a simple SQL, and we can see that Node is very high, and Apache Arrow and FFmpeg. 10 most critical packages. Now, and without too much surprises, we can see that OpenSSL is at the core of a lot of dependencies, and so it's very interesting. Also, recursive chain. Now here, and also list outdated packages. So they are known because I've already made an update just a few minutes ago, so the list is empty. Yes, that's why I have 0 rows. So it's very easy. Also, we can make a pivot in a duckdb. So as you can see, everything you want to do is now just resumed to a simple SQL. And this one also is pretty interesting. by tap. So I can see that most of the time I use formula and sometimes cask and why and for what. So it's very easy. I really can do everything I want as a reporting. And then you can also, of course, export to CSV, to a lot of things. We can give a try to this one. We could be quite interesting. So with duckdb, you can have a little chart inline in pure SQL. So all this code has almost been created by GitHub Copilot, which is the topic of the day. All the code produced here has been almost produced by GitHub Copilot, which I'll show you in a few minutes later. And also, very important to mention, the quality of the release notes, which have also been fully created by vibe coding from the terminal, even not open a single time VS Code or that kind of thing. So the release notes are really nice to read and use. So here we are for the release notes. About the descriptor. So it looks like that, and it was a mix between manual coding and vibe coding, I may say. I took a lot of examples on other extensions and about the CI. So this is how we have to take the source code. First, I had to implement the repo template of the extension, then make a pull request here with the community extension descriptor. So the source code of the repository is here, and as you can see, it has been generated from the project template, which embeds CI, workflows, and really it's very impressive way of collaborating, and it's really very well packaged. We can take a closer look. So here we are. Initially there were Windows platform builds, so I had to customize it to get the final build like this. Now for the build, the developer experience on Copilot CLI, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So I close here, and now this is how I developed. I use GitHub Copilot CLI. So my setup is the following one. Here I have the I wanted to keep the end on the build, the compilation process. So I kept my terminal here with a command that builds the binary. So we're gonna make a build live to see what it looks like. So it takes a bit of time. And then I'll show you that in fact with the repo template, when you build, you have the make file, it's linking, so it's about to be done. Okay, it builds locally a full version with the extension already installed in it. So if I take a closer look inside, I can see that now it has been produced today, and I can give it a try, the binary, without having to install the extension. So I'm going inside, and I can try some SQL directly within here. So for example, I'm going to make a try. And this is the workflow I used during development process. Here I was prompting Copilot CLI to achieve things. So you can see how we chatted together with Claude Sonnet. Then once the source code I got a candidate, I run the makefile manually. I rather the developer experience run it this way, and then give a try to the function here on this panel. And if I was happy with that, then I asked to create a tag, release notes, etc. So if you can, here you have some examples of the discussions, the chat I got with GitHub Copilot. That's it. So that's all for the unboxing video. Hopefully you'll like it. Now the official community page is here, so already 257 downloads. And what's next? I have some enhancements in the pipe. So for example, get the version to get this as a table. So this is one of the tasks that are in the pipe. And also what I want to achieve once the challenge will be over, of course, will be to implement, for example, the same thing, but for snap packages, for example, which is very useful, and apt also. And at the end, it should make this kind of reports much easier to perform just with pure SQL, and then also behind automation opportunities, etc. So in the pipeline, I think I'll focus rather on let me show you on this part, because this is where I have the most the number of packages. So I want to do that, and then we work on probably a quarto. What is quarto? Quarto notebook to produce ready-to-use reports, and then being also able to make this kind of of reporting, which is in my case very useful, as I was challenged to answer that kind of question. So for example, this kind of charts is very interesting, and this kind of inflection, because as you can see here we have a linear growth and suddenly it starts to explode, then become stable. So by having the data as a duckdb table and opening data science and data analysis opportunities like this one, it makes things much more interesting to watch and work, and make cybersecurity much more interesting, and makes it possible for data scientists who are not using brew, for example, to produce intelligence on this data, and then start the never-ending improvement cycle. So that's all for today as a conclusion. So to make short, today it's about joining the GitHub Copilot CLI challenge with vibe coding, the duckdb community extensions, which are really great and awesome, and of course, which is very cool, is that I'm going to show you what brought me the most joy on this dev challenge. Here now it's fully open source. Now here, and that's why that's what made me the most happy when I finally managed to get my extension published as a community edition, which makes its installation process much easier, just as easy as that. Because things must be easy. Just install, load, and select. That's all for today. Be sure to check a closer look at duckdb, and to keep you up to date with latest news from the community and duckdb community, which is really amazing and growing amazingly fast. Just follow them on Twitter. At last, if you wonder about end-of-life strategies about duckdb, it recently had a very interesting things, which is the support of LTS, which is really a major thing for enterprise use case scenario. Now it's really the end of this unboxing demo. So go on duckdb, have fun, learn, be productive, be simple, portable, and fun and free. What more? See you later. Stay tuned, and thank you dev community for this challenge, which helps us keep motivated and on track to produce new ideas and learn a lot of things. See you later. Bye.